just loving the new location and the background? La la la, a hallway. How is everybody today? I hope you're really good. Today I'm gonna kind of take you back to when I was in Indonesia and tell you all about how much it costs to travel in Indonesia. As you probably know, traveling through Southeast Asia is extremely cheap. So, let's get started. First thing I'll talk about is accommodation. Our first point of call was Ubud, which is in Bali, and we decided to treat ourselves, my boyfriend and I, in case you are confused by who we are. As it was our anniversary, we decided to treat ourselves and we got ourselves this stunning villa to ourselves with our own pool and our own kitchen and a big 4-poster bed. It was absolutely phenomenal, and that one cost us $85 per night. Now, $85 is a lot when you think of traveling through Southeast Asia. However, try and find something like that in Australia. After Ubud, we went over to Gili Trawangan, which is one of the Gili Islands off of Lombok, and that place actually only cost us $34 per night. Both of these so far have been found on Airbnb. So our place in Gili Trawangan was actually owned by this lovely Irish guy who came over to the island on holiday for a month, went home, sorted out his affairs, quit his job, and moved to Gili Trawangan full time and opened up a B&B. And he was so helpful. In that $34, we got free coffee, tea, and breakfast delivered every single morning, which were fresh croissants from the local bakery. So 7 a.m. because I'm an early riser, especially when I'm properly traveling and not working. And I'd wake up and there'd be a basket on our table on our veranda with croissants. Can't really go wrong with that. After Gili Trawangan, we went over to Lombok and we stayed in Kuta. Again, found on Airbnb, and this place cost us $18 per night. It was really simple, it's all I need. It was a double bed with an ensuite and a little veranda, little area to sit out and enjoy the view of all the coconut trees. And for $18, that even included breakfast. The owner was amazing. He'd come around every morning whenever we woke up and asked us what we wanted, either banana pancakes or egg on toast, and he'd bring us fresh coffee. And you can't really go wrong when you're paying less than $20. And that's for both of us, so it works out at $9 each. As we were in Kuta for a few days, it was my birthday coming up, so my other half asked, where do you want to be on your birthday? And I said I wanted to go back to the Gili Islands and go to Gili Air, because apparently it was very beautiful and a lot of good snorkeling. So we headed on a boat over to Gili Air, and that only cost us $50 per night. For that we had our own little bungalow with a veranda, beautiful bathroom with an outdoor shower, massive queen-size bed, and a little loungy area with a TV, which we never actually used. But like every time you travel, you will guarantee spend most of your money on accommodation. Next up is my favorite section of it all, alcohol. And drinks in general, water, juices, they're all very good for you. But alcohol. Now, if you're a wine lover like I am, you will not be drinking wine in Indonesia. It is extremely expensive. I'm talking $30 a bottle from a shop. It's hard to find wine in Indonesia, as we found, and then when you did find it, it was ridiculously overpriced. Even in Australia, I cringe at spending $30 on a bottle of wine at a bar. So you will be drinking bintang. Bintang is loved by all tourists going through that place, and it is super cheap. It is just a beer, lager kind of deal, and they come in the big bottles or they come in the little bottles. A small bottle will cost you around 20,000 rupiah and a large one 35,000. Water is super cheap at around 5,000 to 10,000 rupiah, so 50 cents to $1 for a big bottle. And you will also find lots of stalls selling freshly squeezed juice, which will come in around 25 to 30,000 rupiah for a big, juice. Now, whilst we were there, I will talk about food. Food is extremely cheap. You pay about $2 for a massive meal. So your basic standard is nasi goreng, things like that, the really standard dishes which are super tasty and will cost between $2 and $3 for a huge portion. Now, we also treated ourselves on this holiday and went to a very fancy restaurant which was recommended. We had 3 courses each, and I had a cocktail and a beer, and my other half I think had 2 beers and that totaled at 500,000 rupiah, which is $50. And when you think of it, $50 or say £30 for a 3-course fancy tapas meal in the nicest restaurant in Ubud with cocktails and beer for 2 people, that's still insanely cheap. So even if you treat yourselves every single day, you won't be racking up the bill that you would in places like Australia. Time to talk about some attractions. There are loads of temples, shockingly. Gunung Kawi in Ubud cost us around 15,000 rupiah, $1.50, maybe about 80 pence. Ubud Monkey Forest, you kind of see all the monkeys doing their thing, that was 30,000. When you're in Southeast Asia, you will probably want to get yourself a massage or 3, like we did. Sometimes you're just laying about on the beach and you're just like, I'll go for a massage, why not? Massages will cost you around 50,000 to 150,000 rupiah. We had some good and we had some bad massages, but when they only cost between $6 and $15 for an hour and a half of squidging and rolling and elbowing, you can't really complain too much. Next, you'll probably want to get around. On the Gili Islands, there is no motorized vehicles. You either cycle or you get a horse and carriage around. I refused to get on the horse and carriages because the horses look like they are terribly treated. It was sad, they were left out in the heat all day and they were carrying extremely ridiculous loads around all day in about 36-degree heat. And I refused to get on one. However, in places such as Lombok and Bali, you'll probably want to hire a scooter. Just be warned, they're insane, they're mad on the road, there is no road rules, they will cut you up on a blind corner, they will overtake like crazy men. Only get a scooter if you're quite experienced on a bike. A scooter will normally cost between 50 and 60,000 rupiahs per day, so $5 to $6 a day, which is really can't complain about that. The only thing I would recommend is if you're getting one from a salesperson in town, then if you see any marks, any damage, you get it in writing and you get them to sign it to say that's the condition you received it in. But that's something you can watch in my Warning Scams in Indonesia video. If you want to hire a push bike, which you'll have to on the Gili Islands, even though they are small enough to just walk around, getting a little push bike is actually a really good way of seeing the island. They will cost around $2 to $3 a day. 20 to 30,000 rupiah. If you want to be super lazy and you don't want to do any of that, then you can actually hire yourself a driver for the whole day or your whole time there. What you need to do is to arrange a price. Tell them your itinerary. They will literally take you to a temple, for example. They will wait for you. You can get back in the car, they'll take you to the next place. They'll recommend places along the way, people they know, stop at little cafes. It's a great way to see the islands. However, they can rip you off. So a driver will cost you between 350 and 600,000 rupiah a day, 35 to 60 bucks. Be transparent with your plans. Tell them what you're going to be doing. It all depends on the distance, how far you want to go out in the island, but arrange that price beforehand because we did get ripped off. And finally, I'll talk quickly about taxis. Make sure that you get a Bluebird taxi as they are metered and they can't rip you off like that. And the minimum is 30,000 rupiah, regardless of if you're just, going there or there. The minimum you'll pay is 30,000 for $3. To be honest, I don't think we ever paid over 30,000 for anything. And when we went all the way through town, it was still like 350. So taxis can be a really cheap way of getting around, but the traffic can be hell, especially in Kuta, Bali. Then you have boats in between the islands. Now this is where you have to haggle. Promise me you'll haggle. You can either just get a public bus and then get on the boat, or you can get a private driver who will take you to the boat. You get on the boat and when you get off, a private driver will meet you there and he will drive you to your place. I believe Bali to Gili Trawangan cost us around 300,000 or maybe 250,000. This is the one price I didn't write down, which is about $25 or $30, and that was with a private driver. So that's the kind of prices, between 20 and 30 bucks, those are the kind of prices for private drivers and island hopping. So kind of aim for that kind of, price. That's pretty much it. I've covered accommodation, drink, food and attractions and transport. One little thing I will mention is make sure you take plenty of sun cream. We ran out like idiots. We're meant to be experienced travelers. We still mess up don't worry about it. We ran out, and a bottle of sun cream will come in at around 100 to 150,000 rupiah for a travel-sized bottle. No joke. You will spend 15 bucks on a little 100 ml sun cream bottle, and you won't find it cheaper because they know that we will run out and we need to buy it because the heat can be really bad and you don't want to get burned. So I hope that really helped. Those are some of my travel costs when traveling through Indonesia. I think for a total of 3 weeks which I spent there, I spent around 700 Australian dollars. That's only because we treated ourselves. We went out for 3 meals a day, nice meal. And we also got massages whenever we wanted. I got a manicure, I got a pedicure, we went shopping, and still it only came to 700 for 3 weeks, which I thought was pretty good. So I really hope that this helped you. Have fun in Indonesia, and if there's any other kind of videos you want to know about, you know, any other videos you want to know, if there's anything else you want to know about my time in Indonesia and you have any video recommendations, then pop them in a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Before I go, don't forget to subscribe if you want to. You can keep up to date on all my travels and get some advice along the way. Also, there is Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, all at Psycho Traveller, but the links are in the down bar below, and I will see you next week. Love you! This is literally Melbourne. This is the heart of everything that it stands for in terms of culture. And I don't know about you, but I absolutely love it. I love the fact that people can come and be free with their expression and they're not being judged by anyone for doing it. And